Welcome to the Mariah K Homes podcast, where we discuss all things related to real estate mindset, social media strategies, and how to create the life you want. I'm a mom of four, including twins, and a six-figure business owner who loves to teach others how to leverage the power of social media and to build and scale their own business. Let's go. Today's podcast episode, I am so excited about this one. I feel like I say that every single week, but every week different gems come down the pipeline and different stories and different things end up happening. And this one I'm telling you was a favorite. So my kids had a Monday off a little while ago and we spent the whole day together. My son had a soccer game super early in the morning, a 7 a.m. soccer game. Come on, that should be illegal. Yes, it should be illegal because it takes, 20 minutes to get there. By the time the kids wake up, hello. At any rate, so bring my son to the soccer game. And then throughout the day, it was literally the next day was going to be my husband's birthday. And so every single thing we did during the day, it revolved around the kids. And so kids woke up and it was like, Mom, can we make breakfast burritos? I was like, absolutely. Can we do this? Can we do this? Can we do this? So this whole podcast episode today is the title of this is The Best Stay at Home Jobs for Moms. Yes, the best stay at home jobs for moms. We can put parents in there too. I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you a few different stories, share a few different stories with you today about this and about the really trajectory I decided to go down with college and how that all looked and then where I'm at today and how this all comes to being a stay-at-home mom. I so my daughter, I like I said, we spent this Monday and it was just all about the kids. You want to do this? Great, let's do that. Oh, you want to bake some brownies? Great, let's bake brownies today. Oh, you want to do that? And so everything was just we read books, we played games, we just did stuff together all day long and it was so fun. So that night, as I'm tucking my daughter into bed, this is one of my twins, they're 8. And as I'm tucking my 8-year-old into bed, she gives me the biggest hug and she just looks at me in the eyes with her arms wrapped around my neck. And she looks at me and she's like, Mommy, I am so glad you are a stay at home mom. And I looked at her and I said, Thank you, sweetheart. That means a lot. Will you tell me more? And she goes, Yes. I love that you're always there for me. I love that we can spend the whole day together. I love that you bring me to school in the morning. I love that you pick me up from school. I love that you make me lunch when I get home from school. I just love that you're there all the time. And I literally was like flabbergasted because in so many ways, and I'm sure as parents, we probably feel like this. We feel like we fall short in a lot of areas, or we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm on the phone too much, or I'm taking this phone call, I'm taking this client, I'm out showing houses, I'm doing all these different things. And sometimes I know for me, I feel like, okay, am I balancing enough at home, work? Am I doing all that? And so as soon as she said, I'm so glad you are a stay-at-home mom, I literally just felt like it was the biggest gift I had ever been given. My husband was in the other room. And so as I'm done, tucking them in, I run into the other room. I'm like, Eric, you're never going to believe this. And he's like, what? I go, the sweetest thing. Like I literally just melted inside. He's like, tell me. I was like, Lily just called me a stay-at-home mom. He looks at me, he goes, that's awesome. And I'm like, so this whole story and everything I'm going to share with you today kind of goes back to decide what you want to do. Decide the life you want to create and build around that. So let me go back. I'm going to share some stories with you leading up to my real estate career, where I'm at today, at the time freedom, the financial freedom, all these different things that I have been able to do because of real estate and because of some of these different choices. So, number one, I ended up going to college on a soccer scholarship. And originally I had thought, because I was in soccer and I love doing so much with athletics, my plan was to become an athletic trainer. Yes, my plan was to become an athletic trainer because I honestly saw the behind the scenes of like, oh, every time, you get an injury, they get to run out on the field. They're part of the game. They're part, they're just a really important part. And so I thought, oh, I love all things sports. I love all things that have to do with this. Being an athletic trainer would be awesome. And then I kind of took a step back and I kind of thought, like, how would that pair with being a mom? Because I wasn't married at the time or anything, but I knew that motherhood was definitely in my plan. Like, I really wanted to be a mom at some point. And so I thought, okay, I wonder how that would pair with being a mom. So then I kind of like started watching other athletic trainers, and they were gone a lot and they had to travel with their teams and they had to do these different things. And I was like, okay, well, I'm super glad I got to see that, because I actually don't think that is the lifestyle that I want. I want to be able to tuck my kids into bed. I want to be able, like, I want to do those things on a regular basis. So I decided, you know what? Let's go down the education route. I Both my parents were elementary teachers, so I thought this is going to be a great fit. So I ended up getting my teaching credential, my master's degree in education, and honestly, it was a great fit for so many years. It was a great fit for so many years. However, for those of you who have taught or have gone into that field, there's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes too, of dealing with parents, dealing with administrators, figuring out new curriculum adoptions, like all these different things year after year after year after year, and it just never changes. And if you're like me, when I was living in San Diego, being able to find a job in your neighborhood next to like where you live is very complicated. And there are a lot of strings that need to get pulled. And there's a lot of seniority that takes place in order to get into certain schools. And it's very hard. So for me, I found myself commuting a ton, and I commuted 10 plus years, at least an hour each way just to get to work and back. That didn't include lesson planning. That didn't include prep. That, like, it literally didn't include any of those things. So originally, when I went into teaching, I thought this is the best, like, stay at home mom kind of job, even though I'm not staying at home. I, work 185 days out of the year. And then there's a lot of time where I get to be with my kids. So guess what? I did that, and I did that for many years until I had our twins. And once I had our twins, I realized, okay, something needs to change, something needs to give. And I'm not going, I need to take some time off. So I actually gave away all my teaching stuff and said, okay, anybody want this? It is yours. You can have it. And I'm going to stay home for a little bit of time. I wasn't sure how long that was going to be, but it ended up being 2.5 years. After 2.5 years, I was so itchy to get back into the workforce. I literally was just like, I have to, like, I'm really want to be able to use my skills in some way. I love being at home, but I felt like I want to be out just a little bit. So, I was doing real estate a little bit here and there, but mostly I was, at home during that time. Well, kids end up going to preschool at like age 2.5, and not full time, part time. And I was still home a lot, but then they got to do that. I was teaching part time, and then I was also selling real estate part time. And I kind of looked at all of these different positions and all these different opportunities. And when my family and I moved to Utah a few years ago, I really was kind of at this crossroads where I'm like, okay, my twins were in kindergarten. My next one was in second grade, and then I had a fourth grader. So, looking at everything, it was like, this is the perfect time either to go full force into education again or to go full blown real estate. And I thought, you know what? I know real estate sometimes gets a bad rap in terms of, oh, I have to work all my nights and weekends. Oh, I have to cold call and a door knock, and you have to like do all these different things. And so a lot of that, for a second, literally for a second, made me think like, okay, am I really gonna have to work all my nights and weekends? Because my nights, I want to be with my kids, and my weekends, I want to be at the soccer games, and I want to be at the basketball games, and I want to be at the dance recitals, and I want to do all these other things. So working nights and weekends probably is not going to be the best fit for me, but I'm willing to like, I'm willing to try. But then I thought to myself, there has to be another way. Like, I see parents all the time, and I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they're working some nights or some weekends or the summer. At any rate, so I literally came with a game plan of like, what if I, in a perfect world, what if I was able to, and I listed out all the different things that I wanted to be able to do, balancing a career and then also being an involved parent, right? And on those lists, like on that list, literally was being able to get my kids ready for school in the morning, being able to drive my kids to school every day, being able to pick my kids up from school every day, being able to, if there's an emergency at school or somebody's sick or whatnot, I want to be able to drop what I'm doing and go over to the school, pick them up. Do if there's a kid that's sick, I want to be able to be home with them, right? So there was this whole list of things that I like came up with, and those were a bunch of different things. I also, on the list is like, I want to be able to take trips. I want to be able to go on vacations. I want to be able to do all these things. And I also want to be, I want to make it financially worth my time as well. So I know that's like a lot of like wants, but it kind of was just like, okay, let's make the list. And what's the worst that could happen? What's the best that can happen? Worst that can happen? None of it happens. Like I'm working all my nights, I'm working all my weekends, right? But guess what? It actually did not happen that way. And it was honestly kind of next to having twins, that was probably one of the biggest surprises that I've had so far, was just all of these things that people tell you of, you have to do this and have to do this in order to run a successful business. For me personally, I didn't experience any of that. So I came up with the idea, well, you know what? I think I want to build my business on social media, and let's just see. It might work, it might not work. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is I spend some time and energy and effort on it, but I'm really out my time and my effort and my energy, and I probably learned a lot. And so then I thought, well, what's the best that can happen? The best that can happen is I actually start selling homes. I actually start making connections with people. I, start building this business. And that is exactly what happened. That is exactly what happened. And so one of the things that I think about with being a quote unquote, as my youngest daughter says, being a stay at home mom, I love this title so much because I honestly was a stay at home mom for, like I said, for a couple of years. And it honestly was the hardest job I have ever had, and probably the most thankless job I've ever had. But being able to now step back and realize, like, I've taught full time with kids. I have been able to be a stay at home mom. I have been able to run a successful real estate business, and my kids think I'm a stay at home mom. Like, blows my mind. Like, I just closed on a transaction yesterday. I've got another one that I'm going to be closing on this next month. I've got several listings lined up for the spring and summer. Like, there's just lots of things in the pipeline. I am so forever grateful. But I also look at this, and if you are in real estate and you are a parent and your business is not growing the way you want it to grow, or you're on this hamster wheel of feeling like, I am doing so many transactions, but I am working all my nights, I am working all my weekends, I am not able to do those things that, create the list that you want. You're not able to do those things. If you are finding that in your business, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Schedule a call. Let's chat. Let's figure out a different game plan for you. Or if you're thinking, hey, you know what? Real estate actually sounds like it could pair really well with being an involved parent. Let's chat about that too. Let me share just a few things of why I love real estate so much and why I think it is one of the best stay at home mom jobs ever. Number one is the flexibility. Yes, the flexibility is absolutely incredible. uh, there are a couple days a week that I need to go pick my kids up early. One gets out, at noon on one day of the week, and I've got other kids that get out at noon on another day. I've got one kid that goes to tutoring during the day. I get to bring, I got to bring that child to tutoring, and I have gotten to do that for the last 3.5 years that I have been building this business. So the flexibility with hours for me has been phenomenal. Number two, the work from home opportunities are incredible. I can do, because I've built my business right here in my home office, because I'm building it on social media. it's on my time. I get to do it when the kids are asleep. I can do it when the kids are at school. I can do it in the morning when I wake up before the kids. Like there are so many different times that I can do it. I don't have to clock in. I don't have to clock out. I don't have to show up for a staff meeting. I don't have to meet with parents afterward. Like there's all these different things of being able to work from home, the freedom, the time freedom that that gives you. I don't have to commute. I don't have to commute, which is incredible. And yes, there are obviously sometimes I primarily work with relocation. So a lot of people who are looking to relocate into the area that I'm in or relocate out of the area that I'm in. So for me, it pairs so nicely because oftentimes when my clients are in town, they are in town for a short window of time. They're here for a couple of days. And a lot of times they don't want to meet with me all those times. They want to be able to tour, see areas, and then they want to be able to check out a few homes that they're interested in. We do that. I set up the tours, I set up the schedule, we do that, but it's usually a short block of time. It is not days and days and days. Occasionally you'll have a client like that, but that is kind of an outliner. So, or an outlier. So, going right along, also the potential to work part time hours. Now, I know sometimes people that say, like, oh, real estate agents that are part time real estate agents get a bad rap. I am a full time real estate agent, but I oftentimes work part time hours. Well, what does that mean? That means that I work in little pockets of my day. So when I drop the kids off, some days I'm going to have 3 hours, some days I'm going to have 6 hours, some days I might have 2 hours here and 3 hours here, some days, and it just depends. But those, like the potential to be able to work part time, full time, all of that is incredible. The potential for income, the income potential, you are your own business owner. So if you're not making any money, to me, that shows that there might be something lacking in your business. And that would probably be lead generation. If you are not getting enough business, then we need to really look at how, what the pillars are of generating business in your, generating leads in your business. So for me, I look at that and I'm like, that is so cool. Like your potential for income is limitless. Like you can make as much as you want or as little as you want or not. So I just look at that and I think it's huge. The next thing, I know sometimes being a stay at home mom can be so lonely and can be like you feel like you're on an island of your own and you're looking around, you're like, is there anybody else that is going through what I am going through? Let me share with you. Yes, there are so many people that are lonely and that are stay at home moms or that are in real estate that are lonely in the business. And one of the best things that I have found with the group that I am part of right now, we are real estate agents all over the country. In fact, today I was going to have a meeting with some, but I've got one of my business partners is in Kentucky and their power was out. And then I have another business partner that is in Colorado and they were having avalanches. And like there's all these different things all over. And so you get these different perspectives from all over the world. But guess what? Those different perspectives too also become referral partners. They also become networking buddies. They also become friends and business partners that you are able to collaborate within the business. So I honestly, I come full circle into the idea of my tucking my daughter into bed. I honestly, and as she hugs me and looks, her little blue eyes look into my eyes, and she's just saying, Mommy, I'm so glad you are a stay at home mom because you are there for me all the time. Like, I literally will treasure that that for the rest of my life, whether she ends up believing that later on or not. I just thought it was the most tender thing. And it really made me see that can you can run a successful business. You can also be a really involved parent too. And real estate couples so well with, with being a parent. So hopefully this gives you a small snapshot into my business, my life. If you are looking to grow and scale your business in 2024 and you're looking to do that through the power of social media, please reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, drop in my calendar. Let's set up a time of chat. It might be a fit for you, it might not, but at least you'll know. And wishing you all the very best in this upcoming year, cheering for you, rooting you on, and we will chat with you later. Take care and have a great one. Bye.